Hello, good afternoon. My name is Raimundo Rodulfo. I am the Chief Innovation Officer and Director of Information Technology with City of Coral Gables. I have my colleague, Belkis.
Hi, Raimundo, and hello, everyone. I'm Belkis Perez. I'm the Assistant Economic Development Director for the City of Coral Gables. Coral Gables is right outside the city of Miami in Florida.
Thank you all for the opportunity to be with you today at the Cybersecurity Symposium for Smart Cities. So thank you for the opportunity to share our story and what we are doing to help our community and our local businesses as well. And talking about small businesses. So the Economic Development Director and Julian Perez and the Assistant Director, Belkis Perez, they have been working on very exciting initiatives over the last year or more, helping the local businesses to leverage technology and leverage cybersecurity and best practices to improve their bottom line, to connect with their customers, with the supply chain, and join the digital economy. So I'm going to pass you with Belki so she can talk about some of those programs. And I'm going to share a screen now from the Economic Development Department page. And Belki, the floor is yours.
All right. So, first thing I wanted to just let you guys know that we are a city of about 50,000 people, and that number doubles in the daytime because we have a very big and robust downtown, and we have a lot of professionals that come into our downtown to work. So, I would say we have more than 10,000 businesses in the city, and one of our major industries is the financial sector, wealth management. The second being health services. And then the professional, basically the professional services, which would be attorneys, CPAs, and professions of that nature. We have in our downtown also, we have a walk score of about 98%, which is fantastic. And it just shows that you can basically get out of your office, walk down to Miracle Mile, draw the Plaza Ponce, which are our main thoroughfares, and grab a bite to eat, and then go back to your space. So it's very inviting. It's a great place where you can walk and have a lunch meeting or a dinner meeting as well. So having said that, another aspect and another amenity that we have in our downtown is the great shopping and dining aspect. Retail is big. We have brought this last year many chef-driven restaurants. That's one of our main points for the city. We did a retail strategy, and that was a main focus for us, is to bring more chef-driven restaurants. We know that chef-driven restaurants bring retail as well. And so our focus now is to bring a little bit more retail. Having said all that, we have a good downtown. We communicate very well with our merchants. And for that reason, when we do workshops, as the page that Raimundo put up, when we do workshops for them, they come out. And we try and keep them informed of any grants that are coming up. We put out a business newsletter, all of this to keep them engaged and informed and understanding their importance, that they are stakeholders with us in this process of remaining a vibrant city. So some of the things that we've done recently, and that's been with the work of Raimundo as well and his team, is that we brought on board Google. We have become a city, it's called the Google Partner, Grow with Google. We become a Grow with Google partner, and that gave us access to many of their workshops and seminars for our businesses, for the benefit of our businesses. We teamed up with a Google digital coach, which happens to be a person that is out of South Florida, which is fortunate. There's about 20 Google digital coaches throughout the nation. And one of them happens to be right here in South Florida. So we were fortunate. He led the workshops. And so what we did is that we created a 4-part series. And I think this has been really good for businesses, because what we saw in COVID, as our director pointed out in an earlier meeting, is that many of our businesses were just stuck in that brick and mortar. And so when COVID hit, they were unable to transition effectively into the digital world, e-commerce. And for that reason, it was important to make sure that they, knew what steps they needed to take in order to become digital and safely. So we set up several meetings and workshops. One of the first ones we did was how to get your business on Google searches and maps. It was really elementary, very basic. It was a step-by-step workshop in order to get them on board and claiming their business pages. The next one we did was talking about Google Ads and making sure that we knew how to reach the right people. It's not enough just to put an ad, but to make sure that we knew what our target audience was. The other one that we did was how to optimize your energy for high performance. As a small business owner, many of our businesses were just overrun with doing everything themselves and not farming it out to other people. And so it was important that they focus their energies on the things that were going to be most productive to them. And the last one we did was about YouTube. So YouTube is it's a tremendous channel, and we wanted our businesses to really harness the power of that captive audience that's currently watching YouTube. And so for that reason, we had that webinar. In the middle of COVID, we had even more workshops, and we had some on e-commerce. And so the e-commerce ones were also including digital marketing, which you'll see there February 3rd, I believe it was. So you see it's right in the throes of COVID. The e-commerce one was about the marketing as well, and just how to set up a page for e-commerce. And we also had cybersecurity. That was really important because we need to establish the trust. And I think Lan was also instrumental in that, where we had to establish, the customer needs to trust in your product in order to be able to become a customer. And so for that reason, we also did an e-commerce site, how to set it up with cybersecurity. So that's really what we've been working on. All of our workshops are actually online. This is the page where you can look at it, record them. You can play them over and over again because it's a lot of information that we give out. And coincidentally, right now, we are in the middle of another workshop. We've got our retail and restaurant advocate giving another workshop for our businesses, trying to make sure that they're ready for the season that's coming up and making sure that they are diversifying their revenue streams. So they're not just looking at the brick and mortar or maybe that e-commerce site, but they're looking at other aspects in order to diversify. So as soon as that's up, we're putting it here on our website as well. It's coralgables.com/business workshops. Some other thing that we're doing, which this is something that Raimundo and our director, Julian Perez, worked on, is to get grants for license grants, basically, for our retail stores from a software company called Comment Sold. So Comment Sold allows you, I hope someone knows about it. If not, chime in and tell us. It's really interesting. It is where you can sell very much like a QVC. You can sell online via your own social media platforms, and you can go live, and it creates like a fear of missing out, FOMO, for lack of a better word, but it is amazing. And it allows our businesses to reach out to that audience that they already have on Facebook and other social medias to be able to sell their product immediately, not have them, DM me for the price and let me know how much it is. No, immediate, the sale happens, they comment, and immediately the customer is given an invoice and the transaction happens. So it's a great source. And we purchased several licenses and offered them to our businesses for free for a year. And so I think that is also a great thing that has helped our businesses too, just to open their eyes and make sure that they understand that there's that they can target and they can really get into another target audience that they probably hadn't thought of before. And I think with that, we are good. Raimundo, did I leave anything out?
No, Becky, thank you so much. That was very comprehensive, and you touched on all the points. So I would like to mention that we are very grateful to all the organizations that have helped us through this journey. University of Miami, Dr. Sarah Roshinek from University of Miami, Professor of Business Technology and International Experts. She has been always a great partner of our programs with technical advice, but also helping us connect the dots with innovators in business technology. And the Cyber Trust America and Lan Jensen and all her team, and also Pamela Gupta, that they have participated in these programs, and they have also helped our businesses through these workshops with tips on how to protect your business, how to protect your customers, how to protect your data in these dangerous times that we are living, where we during COVID we have a 6x increase in cyber attacks and in cyber fraud. And out of that fraud is going after credit card data, is going after transaction information, is going after personal information and identity. And you have to protect your organization, your stakeholders, and your customers. That's very important. And things like PCI compliance is very important for medium businesses and for small businesses. So if you are a merchant, you have to protect your infrastructure. So you have to comply with the payment card industry standards. And that's simple if you follow the best practices when you set up your point of sale, when you set up your physical point of sale or your online point of sale. So there are many things that you have to do. And that's why webinars like this with industry experts, like Cyber Trust America, like Dr. Roshinek, like our team in the city that is helping the businesses also with tips and with ideas. So we are grateful to all the organizations that are helping us advance that mission. And I would like to mention in my team, Alex Gamundi, he had provided also coaching to, for example, at the Adult Activity Center to members of our community. So they senior citizens and the elderly, for example, they are vulnerable to scams and what we call social engineering, like calling and trying to get your personal information for cyber crime. So that is very important for us to educate our community, our businesses, and also our residents. Educate everybody. So that I would like to mention also those programs that we had in the IT department to educate our community. So, Becky, would you like to add anything else about these programs before we move to the presentation on the smart cities?
Raimundo, just to say, to echo your sentiments on our partnerships, if it wasn't for those partnerships, we would have never been able to put those workshops in place. We are not speaking ourselves about it. We're letting the experts speak about it. And so I think that's what adds the value to our stakeholders and to our businesses, that they see these experts are the ones that are providing the information. And so they're more likely to heed their warnings and to take their advice.
So great shout out also to DigiSolts, partners of Google and Google partners, some of the programs that Belkis mentioned. The team of DigiSolts, Vicente Pimienta, Google coach, has been very important as a key partner, providing that education and those tools to the businesses, because sometimes it's not only showing them best practices, sometimes we give them resources like, hey, leverage these free resources that you will find out there. It will cost you nothing, but it will save a lot of costs, but also will help you to connect to your customers and to the supply chain. We know how much the supply chain has been impacted during the pandemic. Today more than ever, so those tools that allow you to simplify the process of getting material, getting supplies for your business, it's very important to know those things as well, and how to do transactions in a secure way when you are paying, because that's another area where the cyber criminals, they are exploiting that too. They are exploring ways of compromising the supply chain. So those cyber hygiene and best practices for small businesses is key in all those different areas. So, and other partnership that I would like to mention with the Government Blockchain Association. They are participating in the Coral Gables and U.S. Census and Minority Business Development Agency program. It's a joint venture called the Opportunity Project. It's a program. It's a program of the U.S. Census, and City of Coral Gables is one of the participants in this program. Maybe I can show really quick here some of the elements that we have there in the census. And let me see if I can find that one. So the Opportunity Project. So we have a sprint, and that the City of Coral Gables is participating, and with the Minority Business Development Agency and the Economic Development Department and the IT Department. We have 4 tech teams that are providing solutions to the problem statement. What is the problem statement? What Berkis described and what Julian described before is that the businesses, when the pandemic came, not all the businesses in the city were prepared. They were not ready for e-commerce, to have online presence, to do business in the digital economy. So these kind of programs like the U.S. Census, the Opportunity Project, are also helping us to come up with solutions. So we have 4 tech teams. One is DigiSalt, the other one is Cyber Trust America with Lan Jensen. The other one is the Government Blockchain Association, or GBA, and the other one is Participant. So GBA, for example, is developing a solution that leverages blockchain to secure the data of the customers and the employees. So this is something that can be presented as a mobile app, that if a business has a new employees, the employees are onboarded with the blockchain solution in the mobile app. That helps to improve security of the and the submittal of personal documents, like for example, your driver license if you're a new employee for a small business. So, and at the same time, the employee is the owner of the data because it's a decentralized blockchain protected ledger. So that also helps with identity protection and with cybersecurity. So that's one example also of that kind of collaboration and synergy that we have with industry, academia, and also with the federal government and organizations like NIST, the Department of Commerce, and their different sub-organizations like the U.S. Census. So that said, I'm going to do a quick presentation of the Smart City initiatives and programs, and I'm going to try to give it an angle of how those technologies that we are implementing in the city are helping our business community. So I'm going to try to, when I talk, for example, about telecommunications infrastructure, I'm going to try to say, okay, how is that helping our businesses and our community in that respect? So let me share my PowerPoint presentation in this screen, if you allow me, please, a moment. So I'm going to stop sharing the other one and try to share this new one. Okay. Do you see my screen there, Becky?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So let me start by saying that we have an amazing team in the IT department. So you can see a recent photo during IT Professionals Day. Everything that you see here that I'm going to present of technology and infrastructure is the work of an amazing team, and we collaborate with all the departments in the city and with the city's leadership, and to implement all these solutions. So basically, it's not technology, it's helping to improve quality of life throughout the city. I'm going to describe very quickly our framework of action. So it's basically a smart city framework, or multiple frameworks that help us implement all these projects and make it sustainable. It starts at the top of it all with vision. You know, what is the vision? The vision is improving quality of life, customer service, sustainability, resilience, livability in all those different areas that we know are important in our city for our citizens, for our residents, like public safety, mobility, environment, and many other areas. And of course, economic development, economic growth. And we foster innovation, citizen engagement. It's very important on what we do, and economic growth. For continuous improvement, we improve efficiencies in our operations and the transparency and inclusion. And we leverage infrastructure, technology, horizontal integration among functions, like economic development with technology. And so let me go really quick to the next element. The next element is what are the focus areas? So we need to have quick wins in all these focus areas. At the center of it all, I always mention, is about process. It's about improving processes. It's about customer service, leveraging innovation around frameworks like industrial engineering and Six Sigma and Lean, and trying to make those efficiencies, helping us to improve the processes before we bring technology. So we're trying to bring technology to streamlined and clean processes. And one of the main areas is becoming a data-driven organization. So leveraging the power of data. So we are going to show, for example, how real-time data from sensors help the businesses and also help our organization. So being a data-driven organization helps us to be more efficient and have actionable insight. So having the data at the time, the moment, and the place where we need it in all the areas of the organization, helping decision makers to have informed decisions in real time. Public safety, of course, is one of the main priorities of our city, and we leverage technology to improve public safety. And our police department, for example, leverage technology to lower crime, reduce accidents, prevent crime. And that has been proven over the years to be successful also to improve economic growth, because then reduces the risk of doing business. And another area of focus area is about digital transformation, becoming a paperless organization that leverage technology to connect with our customers, with enterprise systems, with mobile apps and other tools. And sustainability, not only environmental sustainability, which we collaborate with the Public Works Department that they spearhead the sustainability efforts in the city, with electric vehicle, with energy efficiency, and all those other areas. In our case, in the IT department, we reduce the footprint of our technology with energy efficient technology and with electronic recycling and multiple programs where we collaborate with all the city departments. But also economic sustainability. When we talk about sustainability, it's also making sure that our programs are viable, they are sustainable. And on each area here, we have quick wins that the citizens can touch. Like, for example, we implement new technologies for public safety, and the citizens can feel right away a reduction in accidents and crime. And that's part of what we are trying to do. So having quick wins in all these areas. And that has also helped us to gain the support from the community, because everything we do is actionable. It delivers results quickly. And when we collaborate with economic development in all these programs, we also produce results quickly to the businesses, especially during the pandemic when they needed it the most. So they needed quick results in all those different areas, helping them to connect with technology and with customers. And also leveraging best practices in operations. So that's part of our philosophy here in the IT department, is that everything we do has to follow standards and best practices. And we leverage those standards and best practices for operations. And with frameworks like morphological analysis or industrial engineering and Lean, Six Sigma, Scrum, and other best practices, and ISO standards like 9000, we have improved our operation so we can save costs. And we reinvest those cost savings in innovation. For example, some of our first Internet of Things projects were funded by cost savings from in IT operation costs, which came from something that is not technological. It's about improving processes citywide. So we also help all the departments in the city to implement methodologies like Lean Six Sigma to improve processes and lower costs citywide. Then building a foundation of high-speed communication is one of the best or the most important frameworks that we have in technology. So everything that we do relies on that foundation of telecommunications, of broadband, digital inclusion. So that also has to have resiliency, because we live in South Florida and we have hurricanes. And every year we have that big risk that we can lose communications for first responders or critical services if we don't have that resiliency. And that's why we have multiple layers of resilience in our network that allows us to maintain critical communications for first responders, for 911. For example, during Hurricane Irma, when we had 80% power down in our city, we were able to maintain critical communications for police, fire, for 911, for first responders, thanks to those multiple layers of redundancy, from fiber to city-owned mesh networks and wireless point-to-point, and Metro E redundancy, and public Wi-Fi, which is backed up by underground fiber and satellite. And we were able that way to also help the businesses, the business community. Many businesses, they leverage the free public Wi-Fi in some of the areas in the central business district to open their doors and to being able to provide services with their point of sales because they had lost the other commercial internet access that they had. So that's an example of how this also helps the businesses to be more resilient. And this is a stack of cyber infrastructure that we built with that layer of high-speed communications. But then that resilience and high-speed capacity and broadband allows us also to provide all these other cyber physical services like smart lights, traffic sensors, and smart parking sensors, and public safety equipment, um, environmental sensors like air quality and water quality, and also noise sensors, smart devices from the visitors and from the citizens that they communicate with our systems in real time, smart kiosks, something that the economic development department leverage a lot also for advertisement, but also to provide services to the business community and to the visitors to our city, so they can find what they're looking for. They can connect with the local businesses. And robotics like drones, we have a lot of UAS use cases, and a connected fleet, an electric fleet. We have one of the biggest municipal electric fleets in our region, and the biggest one for a municipality in the state of Florida, of almost 70 electric vehicles for our fleet, and connected fleet also in the trolley in the transportation side of the city. And we have those data platforms that we use to aggregate all that data and use artificial intelligence and machine learning to create actionable insight in real time. And that is made thanks to horizontally integrating all those different systems in our private clouds, and private and public cloud. And we have a Smart City Hub platform, which is live. I invite you all to visit it. It's called coragables.com/smart city. And in the Smart City Hub, you will be able to access all the digital services. It's like a digital supermarket. And it includes for the businesses, like applications that the businesses can use to do business with the city and to apply for permits. We have a new permit system that just went live, for example, business tax license systems to pay for the business tax, but also find data and free data and free services that are very important for small businesses in downtown area. They can leverage that data and those tools and those apps as part of their way to do business and to communicate with customers. This is the framework for horizontal integration that I mentioned, and the goal of this integration is to be able to reduce gaps, reduce silos, right? And pretty much make sure that the data is interoperable between multiple systems. When we know about permits and we know about parking, we also can correlate that with the environment, with traffic. We can correlate economic data or financial data in our enterprise systems with also with activity. We can correlate the environment with what we do in business in the city. So that kind of horizontal integration is like thinking like the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. So you have more interoperability between functions in the organization, but also in society. So that's the concept of the smart city interoperability systems engineering model in our smart city frameworks. And best practices in enterprise systems also allows us to provide better services through applications online. Why? Because we follow best practices. We make them not also are interoperable. They follow best practices in cybersecurity, in the way how they manage the client or the customer data. And a projectized approach means that we have a portfolio of projects constantly. So here, for example, in the IT department, Currently, we have a portfolio of more than 40 large projects in multiple areas. Some of the areas have to do with enterprise systems, like the new permit system or the current ERP we are deploying for finance and HR and supply chain, or other enterprise systems that projects for asset management and for facility management, smart parking projects, etc. And we have many projects that have to do with public safety technologies, uh, enhancing public safety with systems, with cyber physical systems like CCTV, ALPR, but also with applications, with CAD, RMS, PSAP for 911, that we have done a lot of upgrades and improvement over the years for police and fire and for 911. And we have digital experience projects like the new digital experience platform that we are implementing for the citizens. And we have another infrastructure category here where we have buildings. So we have a lot of construction projects. Like this building that I am now is the new public safety headquarters, smart building that was finished early this year. It was mostly built during the pandemic. And we have many other projects like the renovations of fire stations, new fire stations, and new trolley depot buildings. And we have a renovation of other city buildings, the construction of the new mobility hub building for the city, and the new development services facility. So all those different projects and many others have a lot of technology involved. So every building is a smart building because then we add the technology, the ability to manage the building with automation and efficiency, but also to provide services to the visitors and the employees that do business in those buildings. And what we call smart city initiatives pretty much has to do a lot with infrastructure for smart city technologies or Industry 4.0, technologies of the fourth industrial revolution, like AI, machine learning, computer vision, big data and analytics, also blockchain projects, and the ability to implement IoT, Internet of Things, and apply IoT to quality of life projects and a framework of collaboration. What we were talking before about collaborating with industry, with academia, with other with non-profit organizations. So all these organizations are reflected in what we in this collaboration framework. Okay, so this, for example, is a strategic is a smart districts map. In this map, you see how we have divided the city in smart districts. The highest concentration of technology and infrastructure and smart city services is in the central business districts or district, what we call the district A. And then we have other areas like the government district and the extension of those districts that go to the northern area of Coral Gables. And what we have recently designated as the innovation district adjacent to the University of Miami. So we are the home of the University of Miami. When this city was founded by George Merrick in 1924, almost 100 years ago, Mr. Merrick founded the city of Coral Gables, but he also founded the University of Miami because he wanted to have a world-class research institution in the city. And that same year, he also founded the Coral Gables Chamber of Commerce. So that's part of that holistic vision of Mr. Merrick that we carry uh, until today is that having that holistic vision of integrating, education, quality of life, economic growth as well. And so this talks about the fiber corridors that we are expanding. So today we have a lot of projects that we are expanding some of those corridors. And when we expand a fiber corridor, we are able to implement other things like free public Wi-Fi. So we have a large coverage of public Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi in parks, in facilities, in the downtown area, in the main areas of the central business district and city facilities, and we continue expanding our free Wi-Fi network capacity. When we do it because we have that high-speed communication capacity that we keep expanding. So we have public Wi-Fi, but we also can provide other services like traffic sensors, environmental sensors, And we can provide that data in the Community Intelligence Center in the city for the stakeholders and for first responders. And we can also do other things like, for example, facilitating data for businesses. For businesses in our downtown area, they can go to the Smart City Hub and they can see real-time traffic data, for example.
If I may, Raimundo, it would be great to just give an example. So we have multiple developers that have come to us wanting to know what the traffic count is and what the pedestrian count is in a specific area that they're looking at. And with the help of IT, we've been able to really carve out that location and give them some numbers to know if what they're saying is viable, what they want to bring to the city is viable for them, and it meets their needs for investment. So it really has been helpful. Our businesses have benefited a lot from it. And in fact, we have another example where the pedestrian sensors actually helped us because we want to expand the hours of our retail. We want to make sure that our pedestrian experience extends past 9 to 5 or past dinner. We want to make sure that it's still a vibrant location even at night. And so for that reason, we want our retailers to stay open after hours. So how do we convince them to do that? We were able to do a pilot project with one of our businesses that we thought had good potential. We had Raimundo's team monitor that block to see how many people were really on the street on those hours that we were looking at, that we really wanted them to stay open. And we found that it would have been very viable for them to stay open on Sundays, stay open later on Saturdays and Thursdays. And so we took them that information, and now we have evidence. We have facts behind the fact that we think it's a good thing, besides that. And they're going to implement it. And so we'll be able to learn from that experience and then take that experience to other merchants. So great examples of how, that technology is really being put into real world scenarios. Sorry.
That is the power of data becoming actionable insight. And that is the main value of these technologies. What Beck is mentioned is an excellent. So we couldn't ask for better examples of how this technology brings value to our constituents. And we talk about network resiliency, but also energy resiliency that supports that network itself. So those are the things that Becky and I were mentioning. So Internet of Things, those cyber physical systems or sensors that we have throughout the city and provide that data, that insight that can help businesses. For example, what Becky said. So you see here, for example, some of our smart light projects that help us in the downtown district. For example, we have those smart lights with controllers. Every time that a light, for any reason, ends life cycle or has a failure, our public works department receives an automated alert, so they can go send a maintenance crew to repair the light. On those lights, also they have rules, business rules that automatically apply to the energy efficiency in those lights. So that provides cost savings and also lowering the energy consumption. And also those smart lights, they have controllers and they have interfaces, electronic interfaces that we can use to attach sensors and other equipment that provide additional data to the smart lights. And other sensors that we have, so we mentioned the optical sensors that we can use with computer vision and artificial intelligence to detect pedestrian traffic. So we count anonymous pedestrian traffic and vehicle traffic, so we know how many cars. With additional intelligence, we can also know, for example, if it is a truck or if it's a car. We can also count multimodal traffic like bicycles. So we do traffic studies using technologies like this trailer, for example, that we can deploy anywhere where we need to do a traffic study. And with computer vision and algorithms that have been developed by our engineers in the IT department, we can also count other types of traffic and micromobility traffic as well. And that data is used by the Public Works Department. And sometimes we collaborate with the Miami-Dade County and with the TPO, with organization that works on transportation studies and transportation programs, providing that data also to other organizations in our region. So we have that collaboration too. For example, using computer vision, we count in our Miracle Mile in our central business district in downtown. We count the available curbside parking spots. So that's also another way how we use this IoT technology. And this is an example of the kiosk. Becky, can you talk a little bit about the kiosks?
Yes. So we have 4 interactive kiosks in the downtown. Ike or Orange Barrel is the company that we enlisted to put them in, but they're fantastic, smart city technology, you would say. It also provides some free Wi-Fi. It allows us the capability of doing surveys if we wanted to of the downtown. We've used them before, especially when so the city went these the 4 kiosks are in a place where the city went through a streetscape project, $26 million streetscape project to enhance our sidewalks, make them beautiful, and just infrastructure. Before, I'm sure Raimundo remembers, before there's always thunderstorms here, afternoon thunderstorms. After a thunderstorm, you'd get like a foot of water. You couldn't get out of your car if you were going to shop on Miracle Mile. So now all of that has been remedied. But the kiosks are in that area that the streetscape project happened. And at the beginning, we asked questions. We wanted to know if people were enjoying the streetscape project. We wanted to know if people were heading out, if people were local, the ones that were visiting our restaurants, or if they were from out of town, or, if our residents were really, engaging with our retail. So we asked a lot of surveys. It also gives us a capability of doing directories like kiosks do. You can actually get, if you're interested in going into an eyeglass store, you can you can get directions from where you are texted to your phone to the store. And so it really is interactive. There's a photo booth in it as well. We have events listed there, and it's tied to our business improvement district calendar of events and also to the city's calendar of events. We have actually 4 murals that we just completed on Miracle Mile as well. And so we have an interactive map that gives you like a self-guided tour to all those murals. So when you're in the downtown, you can also do other things, which is, this is the self-guided tour. You can do that as well. So really nice. There's a lot of capabilities with the kiosks, and I'm sure there's more on the way because they're constantly innovating and coming to us with new things to do. But it's also as Raimundo was talking about, it's also something of a brand for us because it shows that we're interested in new technology. And so the next step, the next phase is to put it in that one of those districts, smart districts that Raimundo was talking about, which is our financial district. Is very well established. It's called, we call it the financial district. It's also where most of our multinationals are. And so we think that would be a great spot to start phasing in, not only in the streetscape, but phasing in more of these kiosks on that public right of way. But we're looking forward to it. And it's also a revenue generating aspect for us too. Ike takes care of gathering all the ads, and then we get a share of the cost.
And talking about what Becky was saying, the financial district, we are very proud that we recently installed a cutting edge system. Is a smart city pole, and it's the first of its kind that has been installed in the United States. And it's an integrated AI-powered smart city pole that combines the same kind of technologies that we have in the other areas of downtown and the central business districts, like red light cameras, automatic license plate readers, CCTV cameras, computer vision and analytics, and edge analytics, and environmental sensors like air quality sensors and noise sensors and public Wi-Fi. And I can mention maybe 3 or more technologies, all those different technologies in one single device, in a smart city furniture. It's an AI-powered pole that has also the electronics and the intelligence built in that can analyze all that real-time data in real time and provide the insight and the analytics to our intelligent clouds, to our community intelligence center, to our smart city hub. So basically, these new technologies that we started implementing this year, and actually this pole was installed 4 months ago approximately, and we are integrating still some of the capabilities of this pole is being integrated to our smart city hub. So this technology brings us a lot of benefits, a lot of value. The consolidation, the aesthetics, and also reducing the footprint of those different technologies and lowering the cost. So reducing the footprint, consolidating, and making this pole a substitute to multiple different technologies into one single system. And I have to say that Belkis and also Alex Camundi, who is in the session with us, we were together at the Consumer Electronics Show in 2020, and we were one of the exhibitors. Actually, we were the only U.S. city that was exhibiting at the Consumer Electronics Show with a booth. And we had the opportunity, because we were traveling with the University of Miami with Dr. Roshinek, we had the opportunity to see some of the exhibitions in the Smart City Pavilion. And one of the exhibitions was this technology was presented still new to market. So it was not yet in the market, and they were still building prototypes. And we had the opportunity to be the first city to test this new technology and to implement it for a low cost as a pilot. So this is the first pilot. It's in the financial corridor, in the financial district. And if you know Coral Gables, it's in Ponce de Leon and Alhambra Circle. And this technology is already bringing a lot of data and insight from all those different sensing capabilities that I mentioned, traffic, safety, environment, to our community intelligence center.
Um, uh, Thank you for the presentation, Raimundo and Belkis. And if you can have the last words for the wrap up, we have 2 minutes left. Thank you.
So I will wrap it up saying that these kind of technologies that we have been showing you, basically they are helping us improve quality of life, leveraging innovation also for economic growth, and to bring value to our citizens, to our community. And thanks to the collaboration that we have with NIST, with many organizations, and internally among departments like economic development and the IT department, is that allows us to execute quickly and efficiently, and actually lowering costs while we are doing it. And so this is, I would end saying that has been a great opportunity also to learn from other organizations in this symposium. So we have been paying attention to the presentations and continuously learning and finding ways to keep the collaboration. So if you want to finish, Belkis, with any final words. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, Raimundo, for this opportunity and to land. I think symposiums like this one really do help us communicate and learn from each other. And that's what we did and what we have done in the past. And so we look forward to more of these collaborations.